and Client Services Officer from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And I know that as Jamaican people, we are multifaceted individuals. It means we can do more than one things, right? Yes. As you'd always say, you make your hand, you take your hand on fashion, right? So no matter what, even if you have one skill, you can do multiple things. Thank you so much, Kemoy, for that beautiful presentation. Now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker this afternoon. A leader whose vision, resolve, and dedication continue to guide Jamaica's growth and development, even in the face of adversity. His administration remains committed to inclusive development, social equity, and ensuring that no Jamaican is left behind. Please join me in welcoming the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Thank you very much, Madam Director of Protocol and Master of these ceremonies, Mrs. Thalia Suarez Brown. I want to acknowledge the Minister of Labor and Social Security, the Honorable Pernell Charles. I won't bother say Junior. Because he's now more than walking in his father's footsteps. He's walking in his own footsteps, leaving his own footprint. And he has really risen to the challenge of managing two major natural disasters back to back. So good job, Minister. Good job. We have here with us the Member of Parliament. I know I have two other members of Parliament here, but I'm going to say something because, you know, we have a tendency when we say MPs, you know, we say Floyd Green, Member of Parliament for St. Elizabeth. Frank, don't feel no way. Andrew, where is Zulika Jess? She's not here? She had another engagement. But that is just because Minister Green is a Minister of Agriculture. So he's Minister for the Breadbasket Parish. So we have Minister Green, Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Elizabeth. We have another minister in the Ministry of Agriculture. Frank, good to see you here. All right. And we have Andrew Morris, the new kid on the block. Good to see you here, Andrew. We have the Honorable Donovan Williams. Now, if you talk to him, he will tell you that his constituency was also impacted by Melissa. In fact, if you talk to any MP, they will tell you their constituency was impacted by Melissa. But no, he's not here to receive any of the benefits for his constituency. He's here as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Mrs. Dion Jennings, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and other permanent secretaries who may be here. His Worship, the Mayor, Mr. Mayor, good to see you. And of course, the most important people in this ceremony, the beneficiaries of the ROOFS program. And you remember what the ROOFS acronym stands for? It's the restoration of owner or occupant family shelter. ROOFS, quite appropriately coined. Now, just to be quick about it, already the government has distributed 1,234 grants under the ROOFS program. And they have done this by direct transfers, meaning it has gone from the bank account of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security into the bank accounts of the 1,234 beneficiaries. And that process will just be ongoing. As we verify a bank account, we send you a text to tell you that it has hit your bank account. These are mainly persons who would have received minor damage, but are also in the highly vulnerable category, primarily persons who are elderly, persons who are shut-in, persons with disability. But the government has also issued so far to 50 persons who have been assessed as having severe damage. So far, since we have started, which was just today, 50 persons have gotten their $500,000 grant to restore their roof. Now, while Pernell was talking, a lady was so moved. And she said, thank God, no more water coming on me now. Thank you, dear. Melissa, why I tell you. So I want it to be clearly known. You have a government that is very empathetic, meaning we not only feel sorry for you, which is sympathetic, but we understand your pain, and therefore we act with urgency to help you to come out of that situation of pain. Empathy. Now, there are those who will try to paint the government as not caring and not doing anything. Lie. Lie. We, as a government, has acted with speed and alacrity because we are a government that genuinely cares for the people. They are those who will say they care, and they will say it with the greatest of eloquence and theatrical pretense that you may even believe them. But as the most honorable Edward Seaga was once noted to have said, to much criticism, it is one thing to say you care. It is another thing to have the cash to care. And it is one thing that this government has been able to do. Not just to say we care, but we have administered your affairs such that we have the cash to back up the care talk with action. And we have done it in COVID, when we have put on the largest social transfer program ever in the history, $40 billion of care for people who lost their jobs, lost their income, and we gave a grant to everybody just because we love you. In COVID, you remember that? People line up and go and collect the little grant. I see one lady said, me never get. But 400,000 Jamaicans got the grants. Everything verified. Not one criticism, not one audit to say there was any corruption. Not one. Then Beryl came. We gave over 16,000 grants. And I tell you something, I was in St. Mary. I was in a little town there. And a man stopped me and he said, Prime Minister, the government now do nothing. Listen carefully. Because me not get my grant for burial. And I stop and I reflect on it and I said, the Monday before I sat with the minister and cabinet and I said, tell me how many persons got grants? And it showed me the list that 16,000+ Jamaicans got grant. But one person never get. And him stopped me in the middle of the town and at the top of his voice because he didn't get. The government not do nothing. And that is the nature of the world we live in. It's just how politics is, how people see their government. If the government never serve me, then not never get done. And we have to be cognizant of this fact. Because one loud voice saying negative can impact the perspective of the 16,000 who received, but don't say a word. Because nobody stopped being the told to say, I received. And indeed, they shouldn't. That's the government's job. You suppose you get the grant. That's how it is. But it is important that you manage the narrative and the mood. Because as a man thinketh, and if people start to think negative, they will start to act negative. And it is one thing that we must keep in these difficult times, times of disaster. It is an optimistic attitude. It's a positive attitude. Because if you think that things are not going well, if you think that you are being unfairly treated and you are under distress and there is no hope, then that will be the reality. That will be your reality. I know when I speak, I move people to ask questions, see another lady there telling me she wants to. But when I finish my speech, now, there are a few things I want to say to you, since I have you and you're all very attentive and want to ask questions and participate in the presentation. I just thought I would share this with you. In the 65 years since 1960, some of you were born then. In fact, when I look at the audience, a lot of you weren't born then. Maybe 10% of this audience was around in 1965. There have been 799 recorded storms. 799, almost 800 storms. 201 of those storms, almost 25% of those storms, have occurred within the last 10 years. So for 65 years, 800 storms. But a quarter of them, 201, have occurred in the last 10 years. But think about it. Which administration then would have experienced the most storms? My administrations. From 2016 to now. This administration has been impacted the most by storms. Let me give you another statistic. There have been 34 Category 5 hurricanes since 1960. 14 of them have occurred since 2015. In other words, 40% of all Category 5 storms have taken place in the last 10 years. Which government of Jamaica has ever had to deal with a Category 5 storm? All right, let's take it one step further. Which government of Jamaica has ever had to deal with a pandemic? All right, which government of Jamaica has had to deal with a pandemic, a Category 3 hurricane, and then the following year a Category 5 hurricane? None. And in all of them, we have been able to respond, recover stronger. This is not an easy job. I see a lot of people pretending, because that's all they're doing, pretending like they would want to do my job. They don't know. they think maybe it just looks so easy. But it's not easy. Now, one thing that my administration tries to do is to approach these things with structure. And because we put a lot of effort into doing it correctly, we are not able to deliver at the speed of need. Meaning, as you need it, you get it. Other things that we have to do. For example, in this program, as we are trying to hurry to get you the grant, there is a constitutional creature called the Auditor General that is not just waiting until you make a mistake, but the Auditor General is actively auditing as you are carrying out the effort to respond. That in itself places some friction on our ability to move quickly. Because it is one thing to deliver the grant to you, but it's another thing to deliver it and somebody saying, you know, half of the grant gone, can't account for it. What we want to do is to make sure that every dollar of the grant end up in your pocket and not somebody else who never deserve it pocket. So we are not able to deliver at the speed of need. We are trying to deliver at the speed with accountability to satisfy your need. That is what we have been doing. And I think the pace at which we have been able to do so is a fairly good pace. And I want to thank you, those of you, especially my lady friend here, who was very vocal in saying she's happy to get her grant so she can cover her roof, get our life back together. I know many of you are out there suffering, water coming, you lose your fridge, you lose your bed, you're uncomfortable. I know. But the grants are going out now and they will go out apace. So there are a couple of things I want to say about the grants going out now. I will be asking MOCA to do a sampling for fraud in the recovery grants. In other words, we have to check that if you got a grant, that you actually use it for the purpose you got the grant for. And that you're not defrauding the government. Taking the grant, say you're going to do something with it, and you're going to do something else. That's not fair, because somebody else who actually needed it could have gotten that grant. So I want to sound the warning clearly that if you get the grant, the portion of the grant that is directed at your roof, fix your roof, start your roof, buy, because I know what's going to happen. Let me tell you. We know because we have constituents and we give grants to people, and sometimes people go to the hardware and they get the building grant and they go and they buy the 10 sheet of zinc and the 2x4 and the lot and so forth. And they do go home and they fix. But some get the grant and they go to the hardware and they stand up there and they watch and see who coming in. And then they say, you want to buy some zinc? And so here's the grant. See the farm here, you go inside here and you just give me $10,000 and you take it and go buy where you want. Some people do that. You never needed it. Somebody else who actually needed it could have gotten it. These are the kind of things that we will. Now, the way in which we are giving the grants now, it might not be so easy to do that because the grants are restricted as to where you can spend them and what you can spend them on, but people can still find their ways and we will be checking. We cannot be spending $10 billion. That's what we're spending, a lot of money. And we are not seeing the benefit of it in the roofs being restored. Spend it on restoring your roof. Now, just to be clear, the government is not just doing this alone. We have a comprehensive, what we call shelter restoration program. And it's important that I say this so the entire Jamaica knows, so that those people who are vested in spreading lies and misinformation by giving you the facts. You don't. No, you know, Pernell, today we replace that word propaganda with fake news and misinformation. But we should really go back to that because that's the genesis of it, propaganda. You remember those days in the 70s when the propaganda. That's what it is. Now, we have a comprehensive program called the Shelter Restoration Program, the SRP. One element of the SRP is what we call the government-directed roof repair program, and that is led by the JDF, and we have several volunteer engineering corps here. We have the Guyanese, the Ghanaians, and the Rwandans are here, and they are in St. Elizabeth, they are in St. James, and they are in Westmoreland, and they are restoring roofs, and they are doing quite a good job. I toured what they were doing. The people are very happy, and they are proceeding well. Then we have the NHD. And the NHD has a program where they are giving grants up to $500,000 as well. And in fact, they have started to give their grants. And funny enough, they've gone over 1,000 grants already. Sorry, 6,000. They've gone over 6,000 grants. But you would never know. Nobody not calling the radio station to say, oh, you know, I got my grant. What you're going to get is the people call and say, oh, I don't get. But it is happening. See, people getting their grants. 6,000 people, the last report I had, but they move fast was 1,000, there are 6,000 now. We have some other programs as well, which are not necessarily for roof repair, but for rehabilitation. The World Food Program and other partners are also giving grants. And in fact, I mean, I should tell you a story that I got a call from someone who was saying, oh, the Prime Minister said, if you get severe damage, you get 500,000. But all I see in my bank account is 30,000. But you never hear that reach to the level of a complaint in the media. because nobody wants to tell anybody that they got this $30,000 in their account and they don't know what it is for. It's just by accident some brave person decide to complain, and then I had to explain. I said, no, that's another program that the government is doing. Quite legitimate, and you would have qualified for it because you were assessed as being in need of rehabilitation, and you will get it for a couple weeks, over the next month, 2 months or so. So the government is doing quite a bit. We haven't made too much of it. And the population is keeping it very quiet because nobody wants to be identified as, having received a benefit, and then somebody else have not gotten it. But very coordinated and very strategic. That is why we have gone through and done 86,000 assessments. So nobody's getting a benefit who is not on that list of 86,000 persons. Only persons who have been assessed will get the benefit. Now, if you have not received a benefit and you have not been assessed, and you will know, nobody came to your house, maybe you hear the assessors came in the community, but you weren't there. As Minister Charles pointed out, you can go online and fill out the self-assessment form, or use your initiative. Go to the regional office, speak to one of the social workers there, explain your situation, and let them come and assess you. All right? Now, I've made a commitment that I'm going to try and help everyone that is in need, that has gone through assessment. But at some time, we are going to close assessments because we can't do it forever. The budget is not unlimited. So I would urge you, if you have not been assessed, to do so now, because very soon we will have to close this. And the reason for that is that the hurricane management happens in 3 phases. Four phases. The first phase is preparedness. And every year we go through a routine of disaster preparedness. We put out the ads, we tell you how to prepare yourself. If there is a hurricane coming, we go through an intensive process of giving you information so that you know what to do. A lot of people don't follow the information. They believe, sure, the government telling lie or not now go come. We said to you, move, and you said, no, you're not move, you're going to stay with your house. All right? Hurricane come. People who never move, people who stay in disaster areas, we have to go find you. We said to you, don't build in the gully. Don't build on the steep hill. Don't go in the marsh. Don't build in the swamp. People still go do it. Hurricane come. Government have to go find resources. So that's the preparedness side of things. Then there is the relief. Hurricane come, shop close, water lock off. So we have to give you emergency aid. That's called humanitarian relief. And the relief part of our response continues even up till now, but it is winding down. Very shortly, we will officially close relief. The relief element was led by the JDF, ADPEM, and the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. In parallel to relief, we started recovery. And the recovery section now deals with restoring electricity. Well, firstly, restoring access. So that meant clearing the roads, moving the landslides and land slippages that occurred. And I believe you can say we are like 95% access restored all over. There are some areas, some rural areas still cut off because of major land slippage. Those we will have to deal with because, for some of them, it is better to reroute the road rather than to fix the landslide. And so we are assessing the cost benefits. Then restore electricity. And once you restore electricity, you have telecommunications and water. And we are about 95% there with the restoration of these critical utilities. And then restore roofs and shelter. And that's what we're doing now. We are restoring roofs and shelters. This we expect to last for another 2 months or so. So hurry up and restore your roof and your shelter. We will bring an end to that once we assess that all the critical elements of life are restored. Then now we have the fourth and final phase, which is the most important phase. And that phase is called the reconstruction and the resilience building phase. So there are some things that would have presented themselves to us as dangers and threats to the continuity of life and governmental function if there were to be another disaster. Our legacy is such that when the colonial powers were making decisions as to where they would locate hospitals or roads, and when our independence government were making some decisions, they weren't thinking that out of the 800 hurricanes that have occurred in the future, 200 of them would have occurred in the last 10 years. So when the governments from 1960 going on, making decisions, where is this road going to go? Where are we locating the hospital? Where are we putting the school? Where people are going to live? They weren't thinking that in the 60 years forward, we can't build close to the sea because sea levels are going to rise. You're going to have more hurricanes, more devastating storms. They weren't thinking to enforce on the people, don't build in the river course, because you're going to have more powerful storms that are going to erode the gully banks and destroy. We weren't thinking that way. But it has been exposed to us now that we have to start thinking that way. That we can't put towns so close to the sea anymore. The hospitals can't be so close to the sea. And so when we are thinking about how we are going to build resilience and reconstruct, it's not just build back the hospital where it was, build back the school where it was, build back the police station. No, another storm is going to come again. Did you think that after Beryl, we would have Melissa? So if we see this happening, what are we going to do now? If we want to be able to preserve life, preserve property, preserve livelihood, then we have to build smart. We have to build strategic. And it's not just the government. You have to start thinking that way. Should I use zinc roof or concrete? And if I use concrete, how am I going to do it? I'm going to make sure that it is properly reinforced. In fact, I'm going to get an engineer to advise me. I'm going to follow the building codes. And boy, if I can't afford the concrete and I'm using, then I must have properly spaced rafters supported by hurricane straps. You need to do that. That is what we mean when we say think smarter for your own resilience. Because you never had to think about that 50 years, 40 years ago, but you have to think about it now. It's the reality. So in the reconstruction phase, we are going to have to look at the things that are necessary to keep us functioning as a country if we are hit by a disaster. One of the things that was clear to us is that the roadway, this main road that we have here, coming from Spur Tree, Gutters, come all the way, this road can't carry a disaster. Can't carry a disaster. So we're going to have to go build a proper road with proper drainage at a higher level. That is going to be a part of the reconstruction. The Black River Hospital, the people there, the staff there did a wonderful job. But the hospital can't stay there. So too the Falmouth Hospital. So too Noel Homes. Because we see what it can do. So these are what some of the things that we will have to relocate in the construction phase. To get to the construction phase, government needs to be totally focused. It can't be doing or continue to do relief, restoration, and then to do reconstruction. So we want to wrap up very quickly. So we're going to wrap up relief. And the truth is most people now don't want to see anybody bring a package come give them anymore. They want to fix their roof now. They want a roof, right? So that's what we're doing now. Get the roof going. And once you get your roof, I know you will find your way. I know you will find your way. And then when we do the reconstruction, we know that if there, God forbid, were to be any other disaster, the impact of the disaster on the continuity of your life and livelihood would be less. And that's the process. And this is what your government has been doing. And this is what I'm totally, wholly focused on for the last few months. And many other things I had planned to be doing. We'll still get back to them. But I have had to shift focus to make sure that Jamaica recovers swiftly and stronger than before the hurricane. And I close with the sentiment of the song. We are already rising again. God bless you and thank you.
One more time for our Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, thank you so much for your address this afternoon and for your continued leadership in Jamaica's recovery efforts. Thank you so much, sir. One more time for our Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, underscoring the government's unwavering commitment to restoring dignity, stability, and of course, safety for all families. Thank you so much, sir. Now, the Prime Minister mentioned that so far we've had 1,234 recipients, right? They have already benefited from the ROOFS program electronically. And I know a lot of persons are wondering how the payments will be made. So at this time, I'm going to kindly ask you to turn your attention to the screen as we're going to be showing you how the payment system will work.
Significant loss. Homes were damaged. Roofs were torn. The National Payment Company of Jamaica, in association with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, introduces the restoration of owner or occupant family shelters program. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa, many families across our communities experienced significant loss. Homes were damaged, roofs were torn away, essential materials were destroyed. For thousands of Jamaicans, the priority now is simple: to rebuild, to repair, and to restore a sense of normalcy as quickly and safely as possible. The government of Jamaica understands that recovery must be timely, fair, and accountable. And we also understand that the process of receiving assistance must be simple, secure, and transparent for every citizen. That is why today we are introducing a modern digital approach to disaster assistance, one that allows affected persons to access support efficiently while ensuring proper oversight and responsible use of public funds. Through this initiative, Eligible individuals will receive hardware grants designed specifically to help families begin the rebuilding process, from essential construction materials to critical household repairs. Once approved, individuals will receive a text message with a QR code. That QR code allows them to visit any participating hardware store and purchase the items they need. This system removes unnecessary delays, reduces manual handling, and ensures that assistance reaches the people who need it most when they need it most. The beneficiary brings the QR code to the agent to redeem her grant. The agent uses the machine to scan the QR code presented by the beneficiary. She asks the beneficiary for her ID. She takes a photo of the ID, front and back. She takes a photo of the beneficiary. Then takes the photo of the receipt, enters the total amount seen on the receipt on the machine. She then gives the beneficiary the receipt from the machine and the receipt for the items purchased. Approved beneficiaries may also collect their grant in cash at FESCO gas stations island-wide. This can be done using the QR code issued to them. And it is that simple. A system built on accountability, focused on delivery, so that together we rebuild stronger, safer, and better. The National Payment Company of Jamaica, in association with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, introduces the Restoration of Owner or Occupant Family Shelters program.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, you watch a presentation, you understand the different ways that you can receive your grants, right? So we have the direct deposit to your bank account, the QR code or text message from WePay, prepaid cards as well. And we have those who have low risk accounts, you will be given monies as well. So we will now move to the presentation of the roof repair grants on the roofs, and I'll ask the beneficiaries to come forward only when your name is called. Please, of course, pause briefly so we can get the photo ops, and we do ask for your cooperation during the presentation, all right? Now, I should also mention that for those of you who do not have a bank account, we have Sagicor and NCB on location, and all you have to do is after the ceremony, you can make your way to one of the officers and they will assist you with signing up. And if you are not ready today, just yet, you can still collect the form for when you are ready, okay? All right, so we're going to be starting things off with our prepaid card presentations before we get into the check presentations. And at this time, I'd like to invite our Sagicor representative, Mr. Kavon Williams, branch manager, and our state minister, Mr. Donovan Williams, who will be assisting us with those presentations. I'm going to kindly ask for some assistance to go to my left, please, so we can have our proper photo ops taken, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, our first recipient, Janet Dunn. Is Janet here? Janelle Thompson. Janet? All right. Give them a hearty round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. just a few of our recipients who will be receiving their prepaid cards. The government did mention inclusivity, and we have to ensure that everyone has access to the grants. Thanks so much, Janet. Janelle Thompson. Come on up, Janelle. Give her a round of applause, guys. Oliver Bose, you can make your way to the stage as well. Oliver Bose. Raphael Smith. Rashima Cummings. I see someone coming. Rashima, come on up, Rashima. Give her a round of applause as well. Oliver, hold on, Oliver. 1 second. Next, Oliver Bose. And I see Raphael coming as well. Thank you so much, Oliver. Next up, Raphael Smith. Give Raphael a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Is Ruddy or Rudy here? Rudy Baker? You can make your way to the side of the stage. Ruddy? Okay, I see you. Thank you so much, Raphael. And our final recipient this afternoon, Ruddy Baker. Give him a round of applause as well, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to our State Minister, Mr. Donovan Williams, and our Sagicor Rep, Mr. Kevon Williams. All right, so at this time, I'd like to invite Minister Charles to the stage, who will be assisting us with a few of our presentation checks. Yes, thank you, Minister. And let me just remind you, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not have a bank account already, we do have representatives from Sagicor and NCB. They are to my right, which if you are sitting, it would be to your left. You see the NCB tent right there. And of course, we have the Sagicor green and blue draped tent as well. They are here to assist you with signing up. I'd like to invite the Prime Minister as well to join us on stage for these three presentations. And let me just let you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a representation of each category. Okay, so not everyone will hear their name to come up to collect this check. But of course, we have started distributing the grants already. So my first recipient in the category of minor damage, Shervin Bennett. Please to give Shervin a round of applause, receiving a grant for minor damage. All the very best to you, Shervin. And we're looking forward to seeing how this $75,000 will assist you and your family. A ROOFS beneficiary. Thank you so much. In the category of major damage, Chevanese Myrie. Minister Green, can you join us as well for this presentation, please? Chevanese. Oh, Chevanese is on her way up. Come on up, Chevanese. Give her a round of applause for me, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just remind you, everyone will receive your payment electronically or through your card or through the text. but this is just a representation of each category. We don't want you to be here all afternoon into evening, okay? Thank you so much, Chevanese, Marianne. And in the category of severe damage, let's invite Brandon Miller to the stage. Come on up, Brandon. Give Brandon a round of applause. All the very best to you on your recovery efforts, Brandon, and we are definitely looking forward to seeing the shift and the difference that this grant will make. Lots of assistance, lots of support. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you so much, Prime Minister and Minister Charles. Brandon, don't go anywhere. I know that you do want to say thanks to all parties involved for these grants. So please put your hands together for Brandon Miller, one of our recipients this afternoon in the category of severe damage.
Before Brandon speaks, permit me to just the story of Brandon is one that is moving, inspiring, encouraging. In the middle of the storm, you never understand how persons with disabilities are impacted. Persons with disabilities have a wide range of different, unique circumstances. And we got a call, Prime Minister, maybe about 1 a.m. one morning, that there was a young man who was trapped in his house and needed support. And it is the partnership between Jamaica, and I think at the time it was the US who provided some airlift support with the JDF team, that we were able to go in. Miss Corodas, if she's here, is she here? Miss Corodas was a vigilant advocate. I think we're on the phone for hours trying to make this a reality. Cooperation to successfully rescue Brandon in the midst of this storm, to save him from what could be from Melissa. And he's here today to collect his check, and as a testament of a government that not only cares in words, but cares in its strategic action. So, Brandon, I want to thank you. Thank you. And we are proud of you, because Ms. Corodas, who is our acting chief technical director that is embedded in the West throughout all of this, speaks so high. She speaks so much of you that all of us at the ministry feel like we are part of the family for Brandon. So, Brandon, again, welcome to the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys having me to make a presentation and a testimony in regarding of the hurricane that happened since last year. Melissa, it was very traumatic. I go through a category 5 hurricane, first time experience a category 5. And I can tell you, God is good all the time. Because 2025, I lose my mother. I don't have any mother, no family relative. Most of my support come through God and Good Samaritan. So I appreciate living 2026 right now. So I have to give God thanks first and foremost. Secondly, I want to give the Ministry of Social Security a big thank you to play a role in empathy towards my situation and reaching out to multiple people, also the JDF and the fire brigade team to come and rescue me that night because I was really trapped in my house, nowhere to go. What a good thing I was good with social media. Despite I don't have any limbs, I'm very good. I can do graphic design, digital editing. I do a lot. I do music. Also, I make music and rhythm. I do a lot of things despite I don't have any limbs. So I really have to give them a thank out to make acknowledgement of my situation and awareness, what's going on with me. And that night they come about 1:30 a.m. in the morning to come and rescue me. Rain was falling, breeze was blowing, the yard was completely dark. I never have no way to come out. They'd have to literally clear the way for me to come out. So I have to give thanks again to the JDF and the fire brigade team. Also, I want to give thanks also to the most honorable Andrew Owens to make this speech today. Is not only a government of sympathy, but of empathy. That's what our country needs. Empathy, not sympathy. I don't want somebody to be sorry for me. Because this, I lose my hands because I was helping someone. I got electrocuted, 3rd-degree burn. 13,000 voltage run through my body. And I can tell you, it was a next good Samaritan come and rescue me that day. Because the person that I was helping, she literally panicked and didn't know what to do. And someone else have to rescue me because of my good deeds that I do in the past. So careful of how you treat people because you never know who going to pick you up when you fall. You understand? And despite I go through all of these obstacles, I still have an optimistic mind. I know say things will change. You understand? The other day, a lot of people watching me on the internet see me painting my house. Despite I don't have any hands, I get a paintbrush, I tie it on my hand, and I paint my house just to make it look different. Not because we go through a storm, I'm just going to just leave myself there hanging out like helpless. I'm going to find ways to make things better for myself and for my Jamaican citizens. And I want everyone to acknowledge the strength in me and use me as a motivation and an inspiration. Never give up. Remember, say we are God creation. Have a wonderful day. God bless.
I am at a loss for words. What a touching testimony. Am I the only one who is experiencing goose pimples right now? And I'm listening to Brandon talk and my heart is full. My heart is so full. And it just goes to show the importance of coming together, the importance of partnership, the importance of being selfless, and the importance of also having a purpose. Because no matter the storm, no matter no matter what comes your way, nothing can deter or stop your purpose in this life. And no matter the adversity that Brandon has endured or gone through, his mindset has never, ever changed. And that is so admirable. Brandon, wherever you are, I don't see where you turn, but I pray and I wish God's greatest blessings upon your life, that you will continue to prosper, and that all good things will be bestowed upon your life, because you deserve it with a mindset like that. And I hope that you have inspired more persons here this afternoon, that no matter what we go through, we are resilient people, we are strong, and we can come back even better. And no matter what, we should always have that positive mindset and help each other. Brandon, thank you so much one more time for our beneficiary this afternoon. Purpose is clear, so clear. Thank you. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're wrapping things up. So at this time, I would like to invite Dr. Kamisha Anderson Thomas, Director of Public Assistance in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, who will be doing the vote of thanks.
Brandon, your calling is as unique as your DNA. Therefore, you are the perfect match for your purpose. After every storm, there is a moment that lingers. Not when everything is repaired, but when people pause to ask, what now? Today feels like that moment, the moment when rebuilding begins with intention, care, and resolve, and when hope starts to take shape again. With protocols already so beautifully established. Great afternoon, everyone. Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, I want to thank you this afternoon, sir, for your keynote address and for your steady leadership. Your words today reminded us that recovery does not happen by chance. It takes a deliberate, coordinated care, one that's rooted in consciousness. You reaffirmed that restoring shelter is not just about rebuilding structures, but about rebuilding dignity, stability, and hope to Jamaican family. It takes cash to care. Minister, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr., I want to thank you, sir, for your remarks and for your consistent guidance in the ministry. Your leadership ensures that social protection remains people-centered. Yes, compassionate and accountable. To the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Jennings, thank you for your warm and reassuring welcome and your steady guidance. To Ms. Michelle Sr., your opening prayer grounded us in faith and humility. To Mr. Dar, you're one of our own MLSS staff. Thank you for playing so skillfully. We shall rise again. Today's presentation marks a powerful turning point. To the Ministry of Labor team and our assessors, we thank you for the hard work and dedication. To our private sectors and persons who joined us, thank you. Now, to Mrs. Brown, thank you for your guidance today, ma'am. You continue to lead with grace and warmth. And finally, to our families and community members here today, thank you for your patience, your resilience, and your trust. As we move forward, may this initiative not only repair roofs overhead, but strengthen foundation beneath, restoring confidence and peace of mind. No, today, we have lifted more than beams and sheets. We have lifted burdens, and every roof repairs remind us that recovery is stronger when we build together. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you and bless Jamaica.
Recovery is indeed stronger when we build together. Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson Thomas, for summing up our ceremony this afternoon so beautifully. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we close, we recognize that today represents real support moving from planning and assessment into delivery, structure, accountable, and of course, focused help towards families, and to help everyone return to their safe living conditions. And on behalf of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, thank you so much to our Prime Minister, our ministers, our Permanent Secretary, our team in St. Elizabeth, our partners, the media, our community here. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. Please travel safely. And of course, thank you again so much for being here. Stronger together always. Thank you again. Now, one quick thing. I was just told those who collected Sagicor cards, please to go over to the booth at the right there at the back with the tent to activate the card. So it's a green and blue wrapped tent. If you received your Sagicor cards, please just head on over there to activate your cards. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon on our road to recovery. God bless you all.